Hello to everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. Apologies, I am still getting over a cold. But we are here to go over the finale of Forbidden Love, which was TLC's latest new reality show. Now, I'm not going to lie, normally I am concerned about TLC shows, but in this case, it really wasn't that bad. I actually like this show a lot. So we are going to go right on into the episode. Let's start with Lori and Eli. I think Lori and Eli are the most positive people to start with, considering now that we know the updates on everybody. They kind of had the more positive update and or the update that makes sense. Hi, Oso Best. Hello, I miss you. But yeah, Lori and Eli, they have been dating for some time. They met in AA. They have this great little love story and all those good things. But she needed to convert from being Catholic and traditionally Italian on the East Coast, Catholic, all these things. She needed to convert to being Orthodox Jew. And it looks like basically where this couple has been, Orthodox Jew, that is one of the more strict religions, if not the strictest, especially for women. And she's coming there from being Catholic, where there is a lot more freedom. But it seems as though because he's an Orthodox Jew and it's a big thing in his family and he takes it extremely seriously, he cannot marry her unless she converts to his religion. So we finally get to the point where Lori is actually going to take her conversion test. And before they could even get there, the rabbi was really backseat driving. Like, people laugh at that, but you can actually cause somebody to crash doing all of that. Like, let the man drive. They should have put his ass in the back seat. That's just my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. But Lori is talking about, as they're on the way to take this conversion test, that she feels a lot of pressure to pass the test because of basically all of his beliefs. Now, regardless of what happens with this couple and the update we're going to get, I have not liked how she's had to convert and do so much. And he was not the most empathetic, in my opinion, considering all the things that she has to do. And the fact that he himself is not a perfect Jewish man. So, you know, that is that. But she feels a lot of pressure. And I really do hope when watching this, I was like, I hope that the love is reciprocated because she is doing the most for him. Learning Hebrew, that is not easy. She's doing a lot. Now they arrive at the location that they're going to take this conversion test at, and she goes to the bathroom, and we can hear her throwing up because she's still mic'd. And she's throwing up because she's so nervous about this, because she says that Eli's extremely important to her. She really does care about him, can't see life without him. And if she does not pass this test, that means that she'll never be able to marry, you know, the man that she loves, because he is strict on that. Now, I don't like the test when I'm looking at it. Like, parts of it I understood why they would make them do it, but other parts of it I was like, this is just a little bit extra. You're asking her about rules. Who's in their house playing the judge and jury to tell you if you follow the rules? What happens if you break a rule of Orthodox, you know, Jewish religion? Like, is she kicked out? Like, how does that even work? I don't know. But she does pass the test. She did a good job, according to the rabbi. And the next step is going into the mikveh. I hope I'm saying that correctly, which is essentially a Jewish baptism, okay? She says she's going to go sit in the pool, but she does it naked and alone. And it's basically, when she dips herself into it, it's like she's reborn. She's reborn because she is now converted. To me, it gave Jewish baptism, but that's just my opinion. I feel like every religion has something along the lines of that's relatable to or similar to a baptism. But either way, it's a nice thing to say, like, hey, you can be born again, you can come into this. But after the mikvah, child, they got to sleep in separate rooms because they're not married. So I guess in Orthodox Jewish religion, apparently if you are not married, you cannot have sex. They can't even hug each other or hold hands, it looked like. And, you know, they're already living together. So I'm like, how that gonna work? So they say they're gonna be sleeping in separate rooms because they're not even allowed to sleep in the same bed. I'm like, wait, how do you date if you can't kiss and hold hands and hug? Like, how does that work? My husband would not do well with that at all. I really can't see him doing well with that. He's an ass smacker, and he would probably be the fool to ask the rabbi, "Can I smack that thing?" Like I just cannot. I can't. But they're going to follow these rules because they respect their religion. They did all of this had her go through all of this. They better follow every doggone rule. But clearly she did this for him. She didn't really speak too much about doing it for herself. It seems like she's more so connected to her relationship with God versus the Jewish relationship with God, if that makes sense. But I think it's a good compromise for this couple. I said from the beginning, I think that this is the couple that will last. And I was right. And I love to be right sometimes. True Gemini that I am. So we learn that Eli proposed 2 weeks after 2 weeks after she passed her test and became an official Jewish woman. He proposed to her, which I thought was great because why wait? They've already been together a very long time. They know they want to be married. This was the barrier in the way of their marriage. So the place he proposed was sweet. We know these two met while in recovery. Shout out to anybody in AA, NA, therapy, all of that. Do what you have to do to better yourself. But these two met in AA, and he proposed to her at the AA meeting that they met at, which I thought was really, really sweet. And just a few months later, they was married already. Let me tell y'all, Jewish or not, I feel as though they said we already been doing it. Okay, he been folding her over in all types of directions and positions. They're not just gonna stop having sex. Maybe for a brief time, especially if you have a job and stuff, you can briefly stop having sex as a couple. But like, they've been doing it. Okay, they not just gonna stop. He married that what so quick. They got the marriage, the proposal, and the baby all done within a year. They was not playing. She is pregnant. I love that for them. They revealed that they're having a boy. So, I think that's a good thing. Do not allow his mama to come between your relationship, Lori, and your children's and your child's relationship with their mom. There are two grandparents, and one of them aren't Jewish. That doesn't mean they can't see them. So I like what I saw with Lori and Eli. It seems like when she gets upset, like he's kind of a douchebag at first a little bit, but then once he sees like, oh, she's really upset, he does seem to like try to do what he can to calm her down. It seems like they both care about each other. So I'm glad to see that things worked out for them and that they are happy. I'm happy to see it. Now we got to go to the foolery of this episode. And the foolery that is something that I was kind of thrown off, but then at the same time, I'm also not surprised. And we're going to discuss Lindsay and Elmer. That's the couple right up in the middle of the screen. So fast forward some time, Lindsay has had this baby. Before, she was just finding out the gender. She's had the baby. She's given birth. They named the baby Layla. The child looks like the perfect mesh of both parents, in my opinion. But apparently things only went well with them as a couple and parenting for 2 weeks before everything went to hell. Elmer was helping, she says, with changing diapers, giving bottles. And then after 2 weeks, he went to do a job because he is a roofer of some sort. And he went to work on the roof of someone else and met another girl. Mind you, this is how he met Lindsay, doing a job on a roof. It seemed like, in my opinion, Elmer's going from roof to roof meeting women. That's his spiel. That's just my opinion. But I find that very strange that this has happened again. Now, she caught Elmer flirting with this woman via text message. They were chatting on Snapchat, which to me, like, I have a Snapchat, and when like 24, like, yeah, I used it, but like once you get to a certain age, especially in marriage, like Snapchat's one of those apps where everything disappears, I believe. So it's like, why do you need to be on that app unless you just up to some stuff? I don't know. I could be just acting like old lady, even though I'm not that old, but older. I don't get Snapchat, but it is what it is. He was on Snapchat talking to another girl who they kept referring to as Horse Girl. And I'm like, they could have came up with anything else. Horse girl, which tells me horse girl cannot be mentioned on this show. And I will come back to that in a second because there's all sorts of mess between these two people. Uh, so she catches him flirting and, he's hiding text and all of this. And she says he started to like shower and put on cologne and look and smell good and all of this to go work on people's roofs outside and stuff. Uh, and he started to come home at different times, or he would come home straight to the shower, things of that nature, all the telltale signs of somebody cheating on you. Now, the wedding ring, when you take off your wedding ring, I'm side eyeing you. Like, I would really be side eyeing you because why is it off? Like, women will take ours off sometimes because ours be the ones with the bigger diamonds usually. Sometimes you get to protect your property. But I don't know. Men usually just leave the thing on most of the time. I don't know. At least mine do. I don't know. Everybody's different. But him taking off the wedding ring is definitely a big red flag. So she messaged this side chick, aka Horse Girl, and fired her. She was like, we will not be, or not fired her, but I guess resigned for Elmer from the job because he is an independent contractor and he can do that. This upset Elmer, and he then went to Indianapolis for a week for work. And when on the way back, he stopped at her house, even though they had agreed that he should not be talking to her, working with her, or any of that. He claims it was because of the job, but she already said that you weren't supposed to be doing the job. So why would you stop at her house on the way back from another state? That looks sneaky. And Elmer has been in the Amish, so he does not have any experience dating. He has no experience with women. Everything is overwhelming, from deodorant to money to pornography. Is all overwhelming for this man. She had to put porn blockers on his phone because he was watching so much porn. And it looked like he was looking at some weird stuff, like animals and people doing things they shouldn't do. So she was really dealing with a lot. I didn't trust it because, mind y'all, Lindsay's 34 and he's only 23. Why is a 34-year-old dating a 23-year-old? I'm looking at you funny. That's a different. And I know, yes, sometimes people date and there's big age gaps, but there's a difference between a 34-year-old with a 23-year-old and a 65-year-old with a 43-year-old or something. Like, there is a difference in maturity and the ability to manipulate. So I don't like what she was doing anyway, dating him in the first place. I personally think this old white lady said my biological clock is ticking, as he stated. And what's a man I could find quick and fast who's going to be willing to do what he needs to do so that I can get my baby? That's what Lindsay gives. Like, at first I was like, oh, she cares, which I think partially she does. But I do think she knew what she was doing by dating him. That's just my personal opinion. If y'all feel differently, let me know. Do I think that means she deserves what she's had to deal with and what she went through with him? No, I don't. But asking you shall receive, girl. You wanted a baby by any means necessary, it seemed, Lindsay. Look what it got you. So she basically gets upset when he stops at the side chick's house. She said that lying and cheating are her deal breakers in a relationship, which I absolutely respect. I respect that. She believes that all of this cheating and the lying started because of his issue watching adult content. Um, I don't really think it's that. I think a piece of it is Elmer, being from the Amish and being exposed to all these things he was never exposed to before. But I also think he's a 23-year-old man who's never dated before, and he might just be a little bit of a hoe right now. And that's okay. She tried to, in my opinion, she almost trapped him. Now at least he got his daughter and he can live the life he wants to live and all that stuff. But I don't know. It was a mess. So she put him out the next day after that whole situation. And Elmer tells his side of things. And I don't know. It was just weird. Lindsay can't expect him to act like a real man when it's his first time dating. It's unrealistic, especially for somebody her age. She should have known better more than him, in my opinion. But Elmer feels like she's too independent and says that English women are, they want all the control in the household and don't let men be men. And I'm like, yeah, he's actually right. I don't think that's a bad thing, though. Like, you know, I just don't think that's a bad thing. I'm always like, work a job, have a side hustle, be doing something. My husband is proof of that. He will tell you. When I was not working, because I was lucky enough to have a spouse that supported me through college, but he will tell you, even when I did not have to, I was always doing something to make some type of money. That's my own way of being independent. But I think what he's sensing is the fact that Lindsay probably used him a little bit. But it does slip out if y'all peep game in that conversation, and I rewinded it a few times. It appears like Horse Girl, the side chick, is underage because there was a comment made about how the girl is 16 when Lindsay's like, oh no, I'd rather be looking at 16-year-olds. And I'm like, oh, heck to the no. I would be done too, Lindsay. Like, regardless on if she just tried to get the baby and hoped that because he was Amish, she could change it, whatever the circumstance. I don't want nobody who is turned on by people who to them should be considered children. That's weird. That's weird. That's weird. And she did a lot to embarrass him on this show, out in the porn, getting at him about certain stuff. You could tell there was a lot that he was embarrassed about, but why are you talking to 16-year-olds, Elmer? That's really gross. You're not in the Amish no more. And even if you were, that's a child to you. You 20-some years old. Do better. Please do better, or you're going to have some problems. If that's the case and Horse Girl really is 16, then I understand why Lindsay feels the way she does later on in the episode, because they never got back together. She filed for divorce. She filed the paperwork, had him served. She has an attorney, and he wants to have half and half custody because they meet up in the park and all of that. She wants full custody. She says that he is not capable of taking care of an infant, which I disagree with. You just said also in the same episode that when the baby was first born, he helped out a lot and was a present parent. So he can take care of an infant. You just don't want to give him the chance because you want to take your child and keep it moving. And that is not right. See, the thing with Lindsay is you're not being abused or anything bad like that. You chose to be with this person. He did you wrong and that was shady. It is what it is. But your child has nothing to do with the issues within the two of you. So why is your first thought to just keep him away from his child? I want full custody. He can see her, and no, you just want full custody so that you don't have to deal with him. But as long as he's present and has a job, owns a roofing company and all of that, all you could say to the judge is he's a hoe and he used to be Amish. But unless you have proof of some of the things he struggled with, and even then, it will be a hard case for her. So she says she gonna fight him in court about the daughter. And honestly, the way she acted, I can see why she was single and may have struggled dating before she got with him. Now, the updates with this couple is their divorce is finalized and they are working out a custody agreement. She's dating a new man who's older. She went from young to old, and Elmer's on dating apps. Lindsay's full of it. Elmer's full of it. These people got some doggone nerve trying to. Lindsay, you knew what you was doing, and now you're going for the older man. I know what you're trying to do. She's trying to act innocent. I don't think Lindsay's fully innocent. And Elmer, stop talking to kids. Number one, if that's what's happening, please don't do it. I'm gonna say allegedly, but sound like she was accusing the Horse Girl of being 16, and you know minors cannot be shown and talked about and things of that nature on camera. So I don't know. If he did talk to a 16-year-old, I would watch him around that baby because that's weird. But other than that, they're divorced. I'm glad. We're going to move on to the next couple, y'all. And the next couple is Ashley and Mohammad, the biggest surprise of this finale. So Ashley's preparing to convert to Islam because they did this like fast forwarding of timelines on the show, which I think was necessary because we would have just watched these people go through it for months, all while one of them is working towards giving the other what they want. So it's like, hey, fast forward. So she ends up converting to, deciding to prepare to convert to Islam. It sounds like she's doing it for her daughter, but she, at least Mohammad, I don't really care for all of his ways, but most of it is just him being passionate and extra. He showed genuine joy. Like you can tell his religion is important to him, extremely important. And he showed genuine joy. It's like that's the one thing he wanted from her, it seemed. And it seems she's doing this for her daughter so that her daughter can like be more receptive to the religion and not rebel because her mom is too, which I thought that was actually very mature and respectful. So they're on the way to go to the masjid. And this is where she's going to do a little ceremony to convert. But she has like what looks to be an anxiety attack on the way there. She needed to get out the car, take a second. and she has him pull over. He's asking her a slew of questions when she's freaking out. Because he wants to know, are you doing this for me? Or are you doing it, because you actually believe? It seems like he wants her to do it because she wants to, not all because of him. And that's when I started to finally look at Muhammad like much more differently and in a more positive light. Because I was like, okay, you just got to learn how to communicate, and you mad aggressive. But the fact that you have concern and care that she is converting to Islam because she wants to and not just for you shows that you at least have some type of respect for her autonomy to think for herself. So I'm totally okay with that, Muhammad. You won me over there. I'm not gonna lie. And it take a lot to win me over. Now, she takes a moment to herself and he does leave her alone. She comes back and he's supportive some more and says, if you convert, I will be right by your side the whole time. If you make a mistake, instead of shaming her, he's like, I'll be right beside you to help you learn. I say, that's the appropriate way you should speak to someone. And Islam, I'm not gonna lie, I grew up in Islam, and there are a lot of parts of it that I miss, but don't get me wrong, my husband ain't with that stuff. He ain't with that stuff. But I do like the religion and all of those good things. But she eventually they arrive at the masjid and she declares herself as a Muslim with an imam, an assistant imam, and she gets emotional and you can tell she's either emotional because she's like, oh shit, I'm stuck in it. Or she's emotional because she actually felt moved and felt like she's doing the right thing. And it's such, especially as a woman, it's such a good feeling to have like true clarity and peace about a choice that you make. It's the best thing ever in my little world. It is the best thing ever. But after she declares herself a Muslim, she does state that she feels like she made the right choice. And, when I saw that, I was like, I really hope this decision helps them as a couple, especially for the sake of the daughter. I did have a little more hope when she talked to his brother Abdul, because he was like, I just want to see you do this. And he took some type of accountability. But it turns out Ashley and Mohammad, who were chaos from the moment they stepped foot on our little TV screens, they are okay. They are living together. They are making the effort to be around each other's families more. We saw them show a little clip of her being around Abdul and them being cool. It looks like they're finally getting to that sense of familyness and togetherness. Sometimes as couples, the best advice I could give to anybody who's married, and I haven't even been married that long, but I've been married a good amount of time. I've made it to 12 years and we're still happy. I really feel like it's important when you have issues sometimes to take a step back from family, friends, and the opinions of others and really address it to yourselves together before you confront other people that someone may have an issue with or anything like that, because then you can come back stronger and at least there'll be some like synergy in your unit and all those good things. And that's what they did. At first it was come see my family, talk to my sister, and it was adding tension. When they got away from that and to discuss like, okay, you make peace with my brother, I'll make peace or with your family. They did that, then they came, lived their own life together and worked through their issues. And, it looks like it worked out. I hope it continues to work out for him. I do. So good job to you, Ashley and Muhammad, because I didn't see it for them. I just did not. I really did not. I thought they was going to be done. Now, here's a couple that I was also right about. Ashley and Muhammad proved me wrong. Lindsay and Elmer threw me for a curveball. I was not expecting that. Lindsay and Chris did not surprise me. She's pissed off. She found him DMing another chick. He trying to explain that this was a chick hitting on him, and he was responded to her, letting him know that he has a girlfriend. Why don't you men understand? Just ignore the DM. We don't want to hear, oh yeah, I'm telling her I got a girl. Why do you feel the need to tell her? If you got me, why do you feel the need to take the time to say to the next bitch, oh, thank you for, trying to be with me, but I have a girlfriend? That tells her if my shit don't work out, I'm gonna instantly call you. Or, that like that's an opening to see like, are you DTF even though I got a girl? That's how side chicks be coming about. I'm telling you. That is how that be coming about. I don't believe him, but that's what he says. I do agree with Lenza with that. He's trying to talk to her. She's pissed off, going off on him. And You know, he should have ignored the DM. There's no excuse. If he would have came at her with that, he probably would have got a lot further. But instead, he want to get mad that she's yelling, all to respect the next chick. I can't. Now, he continues to try to talk to her. She's refusing to speak with him. And in this moment, I thought what he also said, it's like he did something shady, which shows you he might cheat or might have been cheating. But he didn't actually do anything wrong. He just behaved in a way that like showed you like that to me was red flag behavior. Like, oh, okay, bet. I'm gonna leave. Or I'm gonna talk to somebody different. It depends on the mood. But I like, okay. Two could play that game, or you could do bad all by yourself. It's up to that. It was a red flag. I do think she did a lot for that. Hollering through all types of crap. Like, I don't understand her. But I do think she's looking for a reason to break up with him because her parents won't accept him. And so it's easier for them to not be together because she's gonna choose her parents over anything. She gonna choose her parents over anything. And I don't understanding her culture, I don't blame her. Hey girl, hey. Hi Shayna. You guys subscribe to her channel as well as our replay gang. I get quite a few views once we're no longer live. Shayna underscore MCD. Subscribe to her channel. You won't regret it. She recaps a lot. She does good panels. It's fun. I like that energy. I like it. She said IDK what this is, but it looks interesting. It's another ratchet TLC show about shit that we didn't think could ever be. These couples are all trying to basically have people convert to their like dramatic ass religions, Orthodox Jew, Muslim, like all sorts, the Amish. It's the Hot Mess Express. Old people talking to 16-year-olds. I'm still stuck on that, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Anywho, y'all, she don't want to talk to him. Lindsay's going off like a true African. She has the temper of an African. I'm African. I can say it. She has got that temper. When we go off, we just go off. Let us be for a while. Just let us be unless you want to get hit with the wooden fork. Let it be. Now, I do agree with Chris, even though he's talking to the next chick, and he did not do anything with this chick. But you don't need to respond to some random talk about you ain't got no girlfriend. You don't need to do that, Chris. You just don't. But he didn't technically do anything. He also is willing to convert to Islam, even though he's a PK of a man who ran a Pentecostal church. He also moved states to be with her in the area that she lives. You know, he's done a lot for her, and she really hasn't done anything for him and kept him a secret. So I'm looking at Lindsay with the side eye. And if you know that you want to be with a man who is Muslim, go be with a man who is Muslim. Why would you choose a man speaking tongues in the church with his daddy? I don't understand. So I think Lindsay just had a moment where she rebelled against her family, and Chris, unfortunately, was part of that. It's almost like a rebound rebel thing. It's real ghetto. Now, we learned that the update with these two is they broke up, as we saw, but then they ended up getting back together. It didn't work out again. He was probably talking to other people, and she was probably still, her parents probably still wouldn't accept him. And she is good with her family again. He has converted to Islam, even though he is no longer with her, probably still hoping to get her. I think he really did care about her, but I also think he's an attractive man, and I think he was a hoe, and he was probably struggling to get sober from his hoedom. That's just my personal opinion, but I'm not surprised it didn't work. But when her dad rubbed that oil on her head, I said, oh, no, 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 no. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. There's no way you rubbing oil on my head. You just walking around with oil. He's not an active pastor, mind y'all. He was a retired pastor. You just walk around with oil to spread on people's head. How many fingers and oils and heads has been touched before you washed your hand last, sir? But that is pretty much all that happened with Forbidden Love, which was a TLC show. Overall, I was entertained. Normally, TLC shows are so dramatic, disgustingly stereotypical, or just weird. You know, like you got shows like MILF Manor that are just strange. Or my 600-pound life, where you're like, I didn't really need to see everything that I saw. You know, Like you you got shows that just make you kind of like, huh? Or 90 Day Fiance, where you're like, all of these people are stupid, everybody involved. But this was actually decent. I like that we also got updates because I don't really think a reunion is necessary. And I think they should keep it going like with different couples each season, as 90 Day Fiance does. Um, and many other shows. Love After Lockup's another one that I recap that also does that because it's interesting. And then you could give us little updates, create a whole nother world. Speaking of 90 Day Fiance, I am considering recapping before the 90 days. I know the season just started and all of that, so I'm a little late, but I'm considering it because I have had a few people request it, and my TLC recaps usually do well. Other than that, y'all, I appreciate everybody who watches, tunes in. Shout out to the replay gang. Thug life. I hope that Monday did not feel like Monday for all of y'all. And if you're watching on a different day, well, I just appreciate you. Shout out to Oh So Best for being here, as well as Shayna MCD. I appreciate both of you. I will see everybody on the next live stream, which will be tomorrow on my channel for Basketball Wives LA with James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. I will also be having a music review tomorrow with Oh So Best, the talented artist that he is, as well as music reviewer. And then we'll have Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and Love After Lockup later in the week. So, love and light to you all. I'm actually leaving this time. Goodbye.